Good morning, fifth grade. Today we are working with Chapter 2, Lesson 4, Multiplication Patterns. We are on page 99 and 100. Powers of 10 include numbers like 10, 100, and 1000 because they can be written as 10 to the power of 1, 10 squared, and 10 cubed. Let's go to Math in My World. Example 1. Pet Paws is ordering more goldfish to sell at their store. Each goldfish costs $2. Use the table to determine the cost of 10, 100, and 1000 goldfish. Determine the pattern in the number of zeros when multiplying the cost, $2, by powers of 10. On the left, we see that the cost of one goldfish is $2, and that stays consistent. In the second column, we see how many of those goldfish are being purchased. In the first row, only one is being purchased. In the second row, 10 are being purchased, and then 100 and 1000. So here we see the product being purchased, meaning the amount of money spent, and here we see the number of zeros in the product. So if we buy one goldfish at $2 each, the product is 2. That is the result of multiplying one purchase times the price of $2. If I buy 10 goldfish at the price of $2, I have spent then $20. If I buy 100 goldfish at the price of $2 each, I have spent $200. If I buy 1,000 goldfish at the price of $2 each, I have spent $2,000. What we are noticing here is the number of zeros in the product. At the power of 1, I do not have a single zero in the product. At the power of 10, I have 1 zero in the product. At the power of 100, I have 2 zeros in the product, 1, 2. And in the power of 1000, I have 3 zeros in the product. The number of zeros in the product increases when the power of 10 increases. Each successive power of 10 adds 1 zero to the product, right? And we see that even just by looking at the column of the power of 10. 1000 has 1 more zero than 100, has 1 more zero than 10, has 1 more zero than 1. These zeros increase as the power of 10 increases, meaning as we multiply by another 10, we increase the zeros. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1000. Using that same table, how many zeros are in the product of 7 and 100? So if I were to multiply 7 times 100, I would get 700. There are 2 zeros in 700. How many zeros are in the product of 21 and 10? Well, if I were to multiply 21 times 10, I would get 210. There is 1 zero. How many zeros are there in the product of 12 and 1000? 12 times 1000 is 12,000. There would be 3 zeros. As long as the factor being multiplied by the power of 10 does not have a zero on it itself, then the number of zeros then can depend on the power of 10. Given that there are no zeros in these factors, if I multiply one of these factors by 100, and 100 contains 2 zeros, I'm going to have 2 zeros. If I multiply a factor times 10, and 10 only has 1 zero, my product will only have 1 zero. If I multiply a factor that does not itself have a zero, and I multiply it by 1,000, the 3 zeros in 1,000 will be the 3 zeros in my product. Example 2. Find 13 times 10 squared mentally. Step 1. Write 10 squared without exponents. So 10 squared means 10 times 10. 10 times 10 equals 100. So to say 13 times 10 squared is the same as saying 13 times 100. Step 2. Count the number of zeros in the power of 10. 100, when they say power of 10, they're talking about a multiple of 10. 100 contains 2 zeros. Compare the number of zeros to the exponent 10 squared. Well, we already determined that 10 squared was 100. They are the same. Step 3. Write the zeros to the right of 13. So if I put 2 zeros after 13, I will have 1,300. So the product is 1,300. Example 3. Find 40 times 7,000 mentally. Step 1. Write the basic multiplication fact. Well, 4 times 7 equals 28. Step 2. Count the number of zeros in each factor. Well, 40 contains 1 zero. 7,000 contains 3 zeros. There are a total, 1 plus 3, of 4 zeros. Step 3. Write the zeros to the right of the product from step 1. So 4 times 7 was 28. I have 4 zeros. That gives me the product of 280,000. Guided practice. Find each product mentally. 8 times 10 squared. 10 squared equals 10 times 10, which is 100. The total number of zeros in 100 is 2. So 8 times 10 squared is 800. Number 2, 14 times 2,000. The basic multiplication fact is 14 from the first factor times 2 equals 28. Total number of zeros, well, there's no zeros here. Let's look in the second factor. 1, 2, 3. 3 is the total number of factors. So 14 times 2,000 is 28. We got that from our multiplication fact with 3 zeros. 28,000. That concludes our direct practice for today. Go ahead and continue with your independent practice. I hope you have a great day. See you soon.